Hello, the doc is in, and welcome back to another chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen, chapter 217, Bath 2. Last chapter, Sukuna does the bath. He takes over the body, kind of. He still needs to do one last thing, which is kill Sumiki or Yorozu, so that then he can push Megumi Soul all the way to the bottom and fully take over the soul. We find out that Kenjaku has a plan to finish the Culling Games and therefore begin the merger. But because of Orame, we don't actually know what the plan is. But that is okay, because Kenjaku's on the move, so we'll probably get to see that sooner than later. And also, Sukuna, one-shots Ryu and makes Uro literally have a panic attack and then casually just pulls up on Yorozu and is just like, alright, so game time, right? And that was last chapter, so this chapter is about to hit different, and it does. All right, so let's begin. Yorozu, Sukuna, them looking at each other, talking. Yorozu's like, man, seems like you're pretty good with that body, you probably could switch your face back to your regular one. And Sukuna's like, same to you. But Yorozu makes a comment of like, oh, you're probably not doing it for the same reason I'm not, which is that for the future it's probably going to be more beneficial to have this kind of face. And I'm like, future what? Well, why are we speaking hieroglyphics? Like, let's get to the point. What is the thing we're keeping our faces normal, or rather as the bodies we're inhabiting as? Like, what's the point of that? And I did want to say, I think this comment kind of hits at the idea that in the same way that Sukuna is the Fallen, right? It's possible that Yorozu has a similar title, if not is a part of the same group. So in the same way that I guess Sukuna could be considered a demon, not a cursed spirit, but like a demon, fallen angel, the demon, right? Maybe Yorozu is a part of that group, and maybe in a similar way, shape, or form is also a demon. Obviously not the same level as Sukuna. Sukuna's different, but same general concept. But nonetheless, moving on, right? Sukuna's like, that was very assumptuous of you to just say survive to the future. What makes you think you're getting out of this encounter? Yorozu launches an attack with her weapon of choice. We'll get an explanation of what exactly that is. For right now, she shoots like this black stuff at Sukuna. Sukuna, of course, dodges out of the way. Yorozu comes inbound on the black material, and she comes in, throws a kick. Sukuna dodges. Sukuna kicks back, straight kick, straight into Yorozu, right? But she blocks it with what appears to be the same black substance. Yorozu then says, Angel was there, wasn't she? It seems that she wasn't able to detect your presence, but I was. Want to know why? Sukuna, he just makes his face like, you're asking mad questions. And she's like, love. It's love. And she makes this like very, I would say kawaii face, right? Well, not kawaii, but like very like impassioned face. And basically she's like, I'm madly in love with you. And I know you're going to kill me. I'll only allow you to kill me. And you should only allow yourself to be killed by me. But let's say I do beat you, but I don't kill you. What are you going to give me if I win? And Sukuna's like, everything. Easy. Her. Him. Well, I mean, if you beat me, even if you beat me and I don't die, I mean, that might as well be the same as dying. So, I mean, sure, you can do whatever you want with my corpse. Literally his words. And her, she's like, whoa. You're saying anything? So we could even have marriage? She's like, yeah, do whatever you want. She starts screaming, it's a promise, no take backs, and I'll be your legal wife, no concubines either. She's covering all her bases if she wins. And she's basically like, oh, we're gonna burn down 3 villages if we get married, and then when we have the ceremony, we're gonna like hang the most handsome men's heads at the ceremony, at the wedding venue. There we go. And they're gonna write haikus, and she has this whole thought out like mental idea of like their marriage ceremony or whatever. And she's like, oh, we're gonna have monkey brain porridge as the dish of choice and all that stuff, and she's really hyped herself up on the idea like, oh, once I beat Sukuna's ass, we're gonna have this wedding. Sukuna is just standing there in pure disgust, and he's like, you know what, divine dog, this is different. This is a little different. Same thing with Noi. All right, so first off, he doesn't summon one divine dog. Not even two. He summons a shadow conglomerate of divine dogs, right, to attack Yorozu. Yorozu immediately, black tendril thing, smash. The dogs combine, divine dog totality, but it looked a little different. My man got a buff, all right, and Yorozu dodges out the way. Then she summons more of her tendrily thingies and basically encapsulates where Sukuna's standing and kind of does like a, I guess you could say like a sand crush if you're thinking like Gaara thing, right? Sand coffin, right? She does that, then she turns it into like a circular thing, and she's like, he's not there. Then she looks up, Sukuna's above her, starts shooting the tendril thingies at Sukuna, and of course, once again, he kind of gets out of the way of it, and Yorozu's like, whoa. Before we continue this fight, is that the technique of the body you're using that you've been using against me? And he's like, well, yeah. And she's like, why weren't you using your malevolent shrine, your personal technique? And he's like, I'm not going to. And the reason why he says in his head is because he's like, well, I have to use Megami's technique because killing Sumiki, his sister, with his technique makes his soul feel like he killed her, and so therefore it would sink his soul deeper, therefore giving him full control of the body. Yorozu doesn't even hear all this. She's just like, you can't do. She basically has a small mental breakdown, feeling as though she's like, how could you do this to me? Like, you're not even gonna kill me with your technique, right? I'm supposed to be your wife. I'm not into. She literally says, I'm not into that kind of fetish. What fetish? You're gonna get killed by somebody's curse technique. I don't think there's a thing for that, but whatever, right? And so she's basically like, do you truly believe you can beat me without your own technique? And she starts transforming, and we get an explanation of what her technique is. Basically, it's construction / architecture. She can create effectively anything similar to mine, but better objectively, as we've seen. All right, she's throwing hands with Sukuna. Sukuna doesn't just not kill people. All right, so clearly she's not somebody you can just pull up on and murder. But how it works is that effectively she can replicate any weapon ever and make any weapon. And she can make any weapon, but she also can replicate any weapon that she has what good knowledge of. And so she's chosen two weapons, a formless I think it's a formless metal that she can kind of control, that's kind of like, think of it like water, but water that's metal, so the heaviness of metal and denseness of metal, but fluid like water. So that's her weapon one. That's what she was using before. Second weapon basically is an exoskeleton that is like, I'm just gonna put her on page. That's her second weapon. There might be more, because a weapon that she's familiar with, so there could be more sort of disposal than what she's currently, the two things we've seen her use so far. But she has the liquid metal and that. And Sukuna says, okay, well, I guess we'll just turn up the heat. Maharaga, she played big card. He said, I deal you a Maharaga. End of chapter. Oh, okay. So, yeah, this chapter, great. Also, break next week. I knew it was coming. I knew the streak of pure, bona fide heat cookery couldn't last forever. Dish after dish after dish. But it had to stop eventually. It literally could not go on forever. But yeah, great chapter. A lot of interesting things to learn. I think the officials will clarify one thing that was kind of mentioned in the chapter that I didn't like point out, which was that Yorozu mentions his technique directly, but in the translations it says Malevolent Shrine. Malevolent Shrine is his domain expansion. Now, she could be literally referring to, oh, you need to use your domain expansion to beat me. But more likely she's referring to just a technique. So it's a technique called Malevolent Shrine, or when we get to translations, is the name going to be something else that directly refers to Cleave and Dismantle, and therefore the actual technique. But also maybe the technique literally is the Malevolent Shrine, which I have heard a theory about the idea that there's like basically connects to like some religion, and basically the idea is that he has the shrine and it comes along with a number of abilities, and so he chooses to use Cleave and Dismantle all the time, but there are also abilities that go along with this, kind of representing the different versions of hell. So like the fire one, burning, cutting, Cleave and Dismantle, and then there's like 4 other ones, I believe. So it can kind of go both ways, but that's why the translations are important for that part. Another thing, so it seems Yorozu is definitely a girl. Like, I mean, again, they could still be a guy and just, but I feel a little bit more convinced on the idea that Yorozu is probably a girl. And last translation chapter, when they said it was a mistake. It was actually mentioned at the end of the leak scans, whatever, that last week it was wrong. It's probably a girl. And so probably next week, not even next week, but later on when we get the proper translations, we'll probably see like, this is definitely a girl. But very interesting that they're in love with Sukuna. Like I already mentioned, the whole possible connection between them, techniques from Sukuna, very nice. Can't wait to see next chapter of this fight, because bug creature versus Maharaga, from our understanding, Maharaga is effectively like a no context win against anyone who doesn't have multiple techniques. So again, clearly Yorozu's built on a different level, that Sukuna's not just murdering her immediately, because obviously he doesn't really care about her, it doesn't seem, and it seems like she's literally in love with him. So she's definitely going all out to get the marriage thing, and he's definitely going all out because he needs her to die. So the fact that he's not immediately killing her means that she's different. Like, she's well above most people we've seen so far. So that's interesting. Also, I imagine we're gonna get a backstory on her, which may explain like why she's so obsessed with Sukuna. I mean, to be fair, he kind of bad, I ain't even gonna lie, but definitely we're probably gonna find out a little bit more about what their connection is later on. And one last thing, there's definitely something going on with the faces thing. There's a reason why this is the second time they've mentioned like, oh, you're not turning your face back to normal. I know exactly why you're not changing your face back to normal. I'm doing the same thing. Good thing that we're not changing our faces back to normal. Why is that important? That's clearly important for something, because they wanted to mention it twice if it wasn't important. Clearly there's a reason or something that's going to happen that they know about that requires that they benefit from not changing their faces back to their own personal faces. So I guess we'll find out about that eventually. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this chapter. Dense fighting galore. Well, not fight. Well, there's a good amount of fighting in here. This wasn't like a Maki Yuji versus Sukuna chapter where it was just straight hands the entire time. But very nice, dense with stuff to pick out. I'm pretty sure I probably didn't even catch everything. I'm sure somebody else will pick out some more of these things. But for me, that is it. With it all being said, thank you for watching the video, and the doc is out.
Thank you for watching. Feel free to subscribe and watch the videos on the right. Other than that, the doc is out. Bye.